Hey everybody, I'm Lala and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make eggnog cake. Yes, I'm making 3 layers of eggnog cakes and I want you guys to check it out. Just to mention, my new posting hours for my videos are Thursday at 2 p.m. and Saturdays at 11 a.m. I used to post every other day, but I'm slowing down a bit just to take more care of my channel and not to rush, so that's what I'm doing. So enough with that, let's get into this video and I hope you guys enjoy it. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. Thank you. Okay, so in my bowl I'm gonna be adding my butter. I'll have everything listed in the description box below. So my butter is at room temperature. Always have your butter and your milk or whatever you're making a cake with at room temperature, and your eggs as well. Yeah, if you use cold products, your cake won't bake up properly. I'm using a stand mixer here as well. And I'll be adding my granulated sugar to my butter. Okay, and I'm gonna be using my beater attachment to mix this up until nice and fluffy. Okay, so I'll be stopping my mixer and scraping my bowl down just to make sure everything is mixing properly. So scrape the bowl and then you can start mixing again. You could also use a hand mixer for this as well. It doesn't have to be a stand mixer because I know not everyone has a stand mixer. So yeah, a hand mixer will work fine for this recipe as well. It just goes faster with a stand mixer. So I'll be adding in my eggs one at a time. Make sure to let the first egg incorporate properly before adding the second one. Stop and scrape down your bowl when needed or when required. Okay. So now you could add your other egg and let that mix in properly before moving on. Alright, so I'm gonna set that aside for a couple of minutes and then I'm gonna be mixing all of my dry ingredients together. In this bowl I have my flour, all-purpose flour. I'm gonna be adding my salt. My nutmeg. My cinnamon. my baking powder. Okay, so give that a good stir to combine. Alright, set that aside. So now we're gonna be alternating with our flour and our eggnog mixture. So I'm using my egg-free eggnog recipe here. So you'll be alternating, starting with flour and ending with flour. So about 3 additions of flour and 2 additional additions of eggnog. Okay. Start your mixer on slow. You don't want it to be high because the flour will go everywhere. So start it on low. I'm gonna be adding some vanilla before I add my flour. Alright, so adding my flour bit by bit. I'm gonna let that mix in at least 99% of the way before I start adding my eggnog. Okay, so add a bit more flour. Then add the remainder of your eggnog. And add the rest of your flour. This amount of cake mix does give me 3 6-inch layers, which is perfect because I don't want to make a big cake. But if you want to make a bigger cake, then I would recommend making more of this, maybe doubling the recipe. I think you can get 8 to 8-inch from this amount. 9-inch would be a stretch, I would say. It would be too thin of a layer, but if you want a thin layer of cake, I would say 8-inch is the higher for this amount of batter. Okay, so I'm just stopping my mixer to scrape down a little bit. Okay, so give it another few mixes. Not too long because it's already incorporated, just to make sure everything is mixed in properly. So to this recipe didn't call for rum, but being that it's a eggnog cake, I thought I'll put a couple of teaspoons of Wray and Nephew rum in there to just give it an extra kick. Okay, so and that's done. Nice and creamy. So I'm just gonna scrape my paddle off to get all that goodness off there. Don't waste anything, okay? Give it a final stir to make sure everything in the bottom was mixed in properly. Okay, now prepare your pans. So here I have my 3 6-inch pans. I'm gonna grease them with some butter. I'm using the gloves because it makes my life so much more easier than to use my bare hands. So make sure you grease it really well, because what I found out about this cake after that is kind of a crummy cake. So if you do have those parchment liners, which I never thought of using because it's my first time making this recipe, I would have used parchment in the bottom. My cake did not stick because I greased it really well, but because it's a crummy cake, I would rather use the parchment in the bottom. So if you're gonna be making this recipe, I highly recommend that. Okay, it's not necessary, but yeah, I would recommend it for sure. All right, so now that my pans are greased, I'm gonna be putting the batter in the pan. I'm trying to be as even as possible with this. Okay, and this is a thicker batter, so a thicker batter type of cake, so you're gonna have to use something to flatten, like to spread the batter in. It won't run like, you know, like other loose battered cakes. Your girl don't waste nothing, okay? I scrape that bowl clean. Okay, so I'm gonna use my spatula to spread that out. Okay. Just giving it a shake to even out a bit, because sometimes if you don't like bang the cake or knock it or something, it just bakes up lopsided, and I hate a lopsided cake because then one side is way too thin and the other side is way too thick, and if you have to level the cake, you have to level it to the thinnest side. So yeah, so that's, you know, you'll see what I do after this, how I get my cake level to be the same thickness. You could use a kitchen scale for this as well, to make sure they're at the same amount in each pan, but I didn't. I weigh with my hands at times. So I'm just gonna be banging my pan on my surface just to get it flattened out and evened out. Alright, there we go for that one. I'm gonna repeat with the other one. This one had a little bit too much batter in there, so I'm just putting it in the one that might not have enough batter. You'll know the difference if you're weighing by hand. You can feel the difference in the pans, which one is heavier and which one is lighter. So don't stress about it, okay? Especially if this is your first time making a cake. So I'm hand weighing. Knock it in my surface again, just to get it flattened and leveled. You don't have to do it as hard as me. The batter almost flew out of the pan how hard I was banging that thing, but yeah, it didn't happen. Weighing it again. Making sure everybody has enough. Yeah, and that was it. So I baked mine on I baked it on 300 for 30 minutes. I like to bake mine very slow. I didn't follow the instructions on the I got my thing on Pinterest actually, but I didn't follow that instruction. I baked mine for 30 minutes on 300. So I poked the middle to make sure it was done, and when you see it come apart from the sides, that's when you know it's done. And there you have it. Look at my cake. I hope you guys try this recipe and, you know, let me know how it turned out. So just to tell you, okay guys, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.